जैसे कि दानिश turned data scientist who decided to simply learn. और कैसे हुआ ये possible?
With a course from a premier university, मेरे करियर ने लिया एक नया डायरेक्शन.
True champion who upskilled to win big. How big?
A massive hike that transformed my life.
Danish changed gears pretty early in the race. But Prasan wanted to explore more to get ahead. इसीलिए उसने करा Simplilearn. From mechanical engineering to a data analyst and a podcaster in his free time. ऐसा career transformation कैसे bro?
Simplilearn के इंडस्ट्री का लाइव और खुद बन गया डेटा एक्सपर्ट.
इतना कुछ इतनी जल्दी डिफिकल्ट तो रहा होगा.
With a well-structured course, it felt like a piece of cake.
That is simply awesome. What's also awesome is that 9 साल के long career के बाद Nitin didn't choose a quick fix. He just added data science into the mix. Nitin, how did you change the game?
Worked on real industry problems to become the real deal.
A joint family, a regular job, responsibilities तो बहुत थी, but nothing could stop Nitin from getting ahead. What an all-rounder.
Day ho ya night with flexible learn, make it right.
Passion या situation चाहे जो भी हो, Nitin, Danish और Prasan की तरह you too will find your way to get ahead when you simply learn. क्योंकि आपके लिए shortcuts नहीं, simply learn है सही. Get ahead with Simplilearn.
From Bangalore, Delhi, I can see folks have joined from Singapore, West Bengal. Nagpur, I can see someone has joined from UK as well, Southampton. I can see Disha. I can see Sajid from Aurangabad. Hi, hello, welcome everyone. I can see someone has joined from Chennai. Would love to your names as well because I can see your email IDs here. If in case you're introducing, your name is not visible, please do let us know your name as well. I can see Shrikant from Hyderabad, Rohit from Gurgaon, and Abdul saying good evening, folks. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're joining from. And I can see Mohammed joining from Kerala, Sudesh from Pune. Awesome. Keep the introductions coming in, and we'll just start in a few minutes. We are right on time. And today's free resume masterclass will be about how you can design the perfect resume for overseas opportunities in AIML. And also we'll be covering the IIT Kanpur's program in AIML as well towards the end. So I'll be talking more about the agenda and setting a few ground rules as well before we start. Okay, I can see the introduction still coming in. For folks asking about the recording, we'll be sharing the recording post-webinar. You'll be getting that over your email in case you want to go through it again. Welcome. So, Sirpur, if I'm pronouncing your name right, please let me know. Okay, I can see Anchal is joining from Madhya Pradesh. Welcome everyone. So for folks who have submitted their resumes for this session for review, we will be basically sharing those resumes live for review, and we already have a speaker here with us, Amitin Srivastav, who will be reviewing those resumes, and we'll be talking more about the skills and projects, and tools you can add to your resume in order to amplify it for overseas opportunities. I think I can see most of the folks have joined. For folks joining, please keep the introductions coming in. Okay, fine. Let's start with few ground rules. So you can put down your questions in the Q&A box in case you have any questions. As you can see, we get so many messages on the chat, so we definitely are going to miss your questions. You will be putting down here on chat, so please make sure you put down in the QA box. Folks who are not familiar with the QA box in Zoom, please immediately go and check out. It's beside the chat section only. So you can just go and put down your questions in the Q&A box. And we'll be taking those questions throughout the session, but we'll have a special duration for the Q&A part. So don't worry about it. I'll make sure that your question gets answered by Amitin. And you need to make sure that it is related to AIML. That's all. And I think someone asked about if the session is being recorded. Yes, it's being recorded. And you can expect a follow-up email with the recording link and bonus offer. You also will be getting the webinar certificate. If you're interested for that, you need to stay till the end of this webinar. Also, if you want your webinar with your full name, so please make sure that you give a proof of attendance for this webinar. in the post-webinar survey. So please fill your full name there. Now, so this program is powered by Simplilearn, world's #1 bootcamp. We are very proud that we have digitally skilled folks over the last 13 years, and we have professionally trained over 5 million plus professionals in 150 plus countries, and we are very proud of that. So thank you for joining once again. Let's go through today's agenda. So we'll be getting to know more about you, and we'll be doing live resume reviews in AIML, and also the program introduction for PCP AIML by IIT Kanpur. Also, we'll be going through skills, tools, projects for AIML, which you can include in your resume as well in much more detail after the live resume review, and also taking you through the enrollment steps of the program. And as I said, there will be a special duration for the Q&A part. So let's start the session. So before we start, as I said, we would love to know a little bit about you. So you can see a quick poll on your screen. So we would love to know, how much experience do you currently have? How many years of experience do you currently have? You can see 4 quick options on the poll here. And you can quickly submit your response there by just clicking on the option which is the most suitable for you in terms of experience and submitting it. It's that easy. I can see, I think almost 90% of the folks have already voted. So folks are pretty fast here. That's great. And I'll just give 10 seconds more only for a few of the folks who have not shared the answer on the poll. And I can see the introduction still coming in on chat. So that's great. That's great. We have gotten a very active audience here. And I can see folks are giving introductions from wherever they're joining from. So that's great. Okay. I will be closing the poll in 5 seconds. A few folks who have not voted, please immediately go and vote. How many years of experience do you have? So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me end the poll and share the results with you. Okay, as we can see that most of the folks who have joined are currently studying or have 0 to 3 years of experience. And most of the folks also have more than 5 years of experience, and few of the folks have 3 to 5 years of experience. So that's great. Now we know that folks who have joined us come from different set of experiences. So that's great to know. Now our speaker Amitendra Srivastava is here with us. Who will be taking us through the free AIML masterclass. Would you like to give your introduction, Amitendra?
Thanks, Rasha. Good morning, good evening to everyone, depending on the time zone. This is Amitendra, and truly delighted to be here with all of you today. My name is Amitendra, and just to give you a brief intro, what I do, I hold an MBA degree from Pune, ISCS Pune, and had the privilege of accumulating over 16 years of invaluable corporate experience. My journey in corporate world has been defined by my passion for analytics and statistical concepts. And this passion has driven me to excel in the field of analytical product development as well as training delivery. And over these years, I have had the incredible opportunity to work with some remarkable organizations and individuals. And I also had the privilege of training corporate organizations in data science, artificial intelligence, and machine learning, accumulating over 4,500 hours of training experience. And it's been deeply rewarding experience to empower professionals with the knowledge and skills to harness the power of these transformative technologies. In addition to my training endeavors, I'm also running a company called Intellitica, which I'm running since last 10 years. It is into data-driven solutions. And I have a small team of 17 people, and we create data-driven, take care of their PGP program. And overall, I have more than 200 clients where I have done training program in the past. So that's in a nutshell what I have been doing.
Thank you so much, Amitendra, for your introduction. Now let's move on to the resume review. But before that, we would love to know, why are you attending this resume review session today? So you can see a quick poll on your screen. So you can let us know, why are you attending this resume review session today? What exactly is your expectation here? You can see 4 quick options here. This is a MCQ poll, so you can choose multiple options here and submit it. And I can see folks have started voting in for why exactly are they attending this webinar on resume review session today. I'll just read out the options as well. for folks who are still thinking about it. So the first one, I'm seeking to transition into AI career in AIML. And the second one, I want to improve my resume and showcase my AIML skills. And third one being, I'm interested in learning which projects and experiences are valuable for a AIML role. And the last one, I want to understand what AIML tools I can add to my resume. Also, if the poll options do not cover your basically reason to attend the resume review session today, you can let us know in chat as well. So please feel free. I'll be giving 5 seconds more for the poll because I can see most of the folks have already voted. So I can see equal votes for almost all the options. So that's great. I think we will be covering most of the things for you to help you out. So I'll give 5 seconds more. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let me share the results. I think we can see that we have gotten almost equal in votes for all the options. So folks who are looking to transition into an AIML career, so you're at the right place. Folks who basically want to improve your resume and showcase your AIML skills. We'll be talking about the skills part, and also folks who are basically interested in learning which projects and experiments are valuable for an AIML role. I will be talking in depth about that as well. And also, basically, you want to understand what tools you can add to your resume as well for AIML opportunity. So that's great. I will be covering all those things in the session today. So now let's start with the resume review session. So basically, how to design the perfect resumes for overseas opportunities in AIML. So over to you, Amitendra. I'll be sharing my screen once you let me know.
Sure.
Sure.
Hey guys, so let me give you a little brief on when you're designing your resume. Basically, some basic things that you have to focus upon is you have to choose the right format. And these days, because of the ATS that you talk about, I don't know you guys have heard of it or not, but nowadays what is happening is a lot of companies have applicant tracking system, and these applicant tracking system will basically automatically it will look for CVs and resumes, and it will read it, and then probably it will extract information out of it. So you have to choose the right format. However, if somebody is asking you to send the resume, then probably you can stick to your PDF document. But the safer side, if you ask me, would be a Word document. That would be the best format to stick to, because ATS works very well with the Word document. And at times I have seen that people have complained about their PDF format, which was not getting picked up by the ATS. Then some basic thing, don't forget to start with your objective, which is very important. Summary or objective. Give a brief summary or the objective statement that highlights your career goals and what you bring to the table. That's very important. And customize this section to match the job that you're applying for. Remember one thing, that the resume that you are building is not something which is one-time exercise, and once you have created, you can send to all. You have to customize your resume every time you're applying for a particular company or particular organization. So when you're writing your objective, there also you can tailor that section to match the job you're applying for. Then not to forget, highlight your achievements, whatever small achievement. You might think it's a very small or little thing you have done, but highlight that, write in bullet points to list your accomplishments and responsibilities. Begin each bullet point with a strong action verb, which is very important. What kind of action you have taken? Don't just write simply like a simple sentence. Start with the action word. That's important. Then quantify your achievements wherever you can. And for the folks who are experienced, they can do that. They will have some kind of KPIs which they can mention that how they have helped the organization. So quantify wherever you can. And another thing I would say is customize your resume for each job application by emphasizing relevant skills and experiences that has to align with the job that you're applying for. And then use the keywords from the job description to match the employer's needs. So basically, that's what I'm saying, that every time you apply for a job, you have to change your resume here and there a bit. So you pick up the keywords from the job description itself, and incorporate those keywords in your resume. And then you have to finish with your education, your skill section, professional experience that generally we do. And remember to keep it concise. Aim for a resume length of 1 page for less experienced candidates or freshers, and up to 2 pages for those those with the more extensive experience. So maximum 2 pages, otherwise it becomes very lengthy. And generally, if you talk about people who are recruiting, they don't read entire things. So you need to be very concise. Formatting is very important. Use a consistent font and style throughout the document. Very basic things I'm telling you here, but I see that sometimes people make mistake on that. Always proofread your resume carefully, or if you want to take someone's help, do that. Proofreading is very important. Include relevant extras if you want to do any kind of publications, presentations, or volunteer work. If they are relevant, put it there. And create a very honest resume. Use keywords. And if you talk about from data science and machine learning field perspective, your technical skills should mention the programming language that you are comfortable with. It could be Python, it could be R. And then also emphasize your proficiency in data manipulation and analysis libraries. Like mention that you are very good with pandas or scikit-learn, or probably some data visualization libraries, Seaborn or Matplotlib. So mention those library as well, that you are very proficient in that. Then also highlight your experience with machine learning frameworks like TensorFlow or PyTorch. Generally, I think TensorFlow would be one it will be using. As I mentioned, data visualization tool. Then you also mention your machine learning expertise. Describe your experience in developing or deploying machine learning models, if you have any. If you do not have, mention the projects that you have worked as an intern, or probably you have done some summer internship or winter internship where you have worked on a project. Highlight that, or probably you have done a capstone if nothing else. So highlight that entire, that what you have done, what kind of algorithms you worked with. It could be regression, classification, clustering, association rules, whatever you have done, mention that. And if you are familiar with any deep learning techniques, then you mention those as well. Also emphasize what kind of data pre-processing capability you have. You don't have to elaborate, but you can mention certain data pre-processing technique that you are very good at, feature engine technique probably. Or for that matter, if you have scope, you can mention about model evaluation also. So when you're actually writing about your project or capstone, mention all these things, that how did you evaluate the model. Okay, so all that is very important. Then if you are having certification and all, don't miss out on putting on that. It's a good thing to create a GitHub portfolio also, which is very handy. You can solve certain problems which are there in open forum. Create a nice portfolio on GitHub and mention that on your resume. And people who are freshers, they can start with the summary or objective statement. Put their education, then mention your education section, detailing your degree, university, graduation date, and GPA. Mention any relevant coursework that you have done. Then mention your projects that you have done in your college, in your university. And mention any personal or academic project that showcase your data science skills or machine learning skills. Describe the problem you addressed, method that you used, tools that you used, and the outcome and insights that you have gained from that particular project. That's pretty important. And then mention your technical skills, as I mentioned, certification, hackathon that you have participated, your portfolio. So all this you can mention in your resume. This is just to give you a little overview. Okay, so that's what you can do.
Okay, I think before we start reviewing the resume, Amitendra, maybe let us understand what exactly is the biggest concern, right? What is exactly the biggest challenge when it comes to making a resume for AIML? So, folks, before we start the resume review, you can see a quick poll on your screen. So you can see basically what aspect of your AIML resume do you find the most challenging to perfect. There you can see 5 quick options there. And you can let us know basically what is the biggest challenge when it comes to basically preparing an AIML resume. Okay, I can see folks are pretty quick, and I can see we can see the polls moving, and let's see which is the basically most challenging one. Meanwhile, I can see folks have already started adding questions in the Q&A box. So just to remind you, if you have a question, please do let us know in the Q&A box. We'll try to take it throughout the session, as many questions as possible, but we'll have a special duration for the Q&A part. So don't worry about that. That will be towards the end of the session. And also about the webinar certificate, you need to stay till the end of the session in order to get the webinar certificate. So also, I think someone has asked that question as well. So I'm just reminding that once again. I'll just give 5 seconds more for the poll because I can see almost 95% of the folks have already voted. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes, let me quickly share the results. Okay, as we can see that tailoring the resume for a specific job role being the most challenging task when it comes to basically making an AIML resume. I totally agree with it. Not only in AIML, I think it's in every category of job you try to apply for. And showcasing AIML projects effectively. I think we'll be talking about that. So you are in the right place, highlighting relevant technical skills, and I can see few votes for crafting a compelling summary or an objective. And few folks have voted for demonstrating domain expertise. So thank you for sharing that. I think let's start with the resume review so we will get answers to all these questions here. I hope we can help you out with that. So moving on. So Amitin, I'll start sharing the resumes.
Sure.
Sure. Let me just quickly share the resumes. I need to stop sharing my screen and share the resumes here. Just give me a second. Meanwhile, folks, if you have any questions related to resume in general related to AIML, please do let us know on the Q&A box. I am quickly sharing my screen. I'm just opening up the resumes. Also, folks who have submitted the resumes for this session, we have made sure your personal information is basically blurred. It's not visible. So please don't worry about it in case you have shared a resume with us for this session. Let me quickly start sharing my screen for the first resume. Okay. Is it visible, the screen?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I think we can start.
Okay, sure. So the first one that you have shared is Sentinels. So here when you see the educational background has been put on the top, and then you have the work experience. Generally, people who have experience, they should put the work experience on top. But before that, as I mentioned earlier, what you should do is you should start with your summary. You should write the summary or the objective, whatever you feel like. So you should start with the summary, like you might write that experienced data annotation specialist QA with a background in computer science, or whatever you feel like. So you write a summary over there, explain what you are proficient at, what you're really good at. Like you might talk about labeling tools that you have used, or probably skill in data collection or annotation that you have. All that you can mention in your summary. And then you can also add a line that what you're looking forward. So that would be your summary. So write a concise summary of your work so that when somebody is looking at it, they read it and they understand what kind of resume they're looking at, in a sense that what you bring to the table. That's what I mentioned earlier. So that's important. When you look at the educational background straight away, it doesn't give you the idea that what you're really capable of. And you might be really capable of, but that information is missing when I look at the CV straight away. And once you write the summary, then you go for your work experience and mention what kind of work experience you have. So if I am not mistaken, if you scroll down a bit here, Asha. Yeah, so Linkerd Labs role is data annotation specialist. So over here, you can again write things like, when you're saying data collection or data analysis, rephrase it like a action words, like you can say, you can write it like utilized labeling tools for data collection and annotation related to electric circuits, or you can write annotated and labeled image, video, text, and audio data using various internal software programs, or you can say collaborated with the data scientist, and so on. So write in this particular manner is what I'm saying here. So use an action verb, which is very important, action words, which is very important in your roles and responsibilities when you are mentioning. Do not miss out on that. That's very important. It gives you a very good understanding on what you are capable of. Similarly, next part that you have written is I think, can you scroll further down? So Vista Engineering Solutions, I would say the same thing over here also. Whatever you are writing, write in a, just rephrase it, what you have written, and make it a little more concise. So Vista Engineering, write the details of it and responsibility, as I mentioned, in that particular format. And similarly, if you scroll further down, yeah, so this is fine what you have mentioned. Now, system skills when you are writing is pretty good, but you need to put in a bullet form. And I would suggest that put the educational background over there again in a normal, you can write in a tabular form or in a bullet form, whichever way you want. Skills, you write skill set over there, like what all techniques you're really comfortable with. Like you can mention annotation technique as a group, then data categories as a group, or you can also mention your proficiency level in Python or OOPS concepts. All that you can put over there. Okay, and that's what I would say on this particular CV. So start in that particular format, start with a clear and concise summary, then work experience, put in the bullet form that you have done, but add rephrase the roles and responsibilities that you have mentioned there, mention the technical skills, education, then add your certification or achievements if it's there. And don't forget to mention your skill set under which you will have your annotation techniques, because that's what your main role is at the moment, technical skills and all that. So that's what you can do.
Awesome. I think, Senthil, if you can let us know on chat here in case you have any more questions. We'll move on to the next one now. So this one is by Samudranal Datta. So yeah, we can review this one.
Sure. So Samudranal, yours looks a little summary you have given, which is nice. And this one, if I'm not mistaken, looks more like a LinkedIn profile that we convert into a resume, which is nice, nothing wrong in that. But I'm just saying that you can create a little more comprehensive one. So probably you can start with your objective statement that you have written, a summary. So add over there the objective part also. Make it a little more concise on the summary front, and so objective could be something like this. I can think of, or you might write it like aspiring electronics and communication engineering student with a strong passion for technology, particularly in the field of machine learning and data science. So that's how you have to project yourself. And then you can write in that seeking opportunity to apply my knowledge or techniques into innovative projects, something like that you can write. And then experience you have mentioned over here, which is fine, but you have not mentioned your roles and responsibilities. As I mentioned, even if it's your LinkedIn profile, there also you mention what kind of roles and responsibilities you have under each of the experience section that you have. So you should mention that. That's important, and it should highlight your working knowledge, your style of working, and all. That's and the technique that you are using. So that's what you have to do there. And if you scroll down, education you have mentioned, which is perfectly fine. Education, you have to also mention your CGPA, I would say. And then you also add your technical skills section, which is on the top, I think, left hand side, right, Rasha? So top skills you have mentioned, AI, servers, cloud applications. I would say when you say AI, it becomes a very broad category. You need to specifically mention within an AI field, what kind of skill set you have. So you will have set of a skill set which will more on a concept side, like you might be very well versed with the machine learning algorithms, classification, and then you need to also mention on the tool side, like what kind of tools you are comfortable with, like you might mention Python or R, and within Python or R, which libraries you're really proficient at. So you can create all that. And certification you have mentioned, which is a good thing. So you need to mention a technical skill little more elaborative, in a very more elaborate manner. So mention the programming languages, mention some more things about machine learning algorithms, and even when you're talking about cloud applications, so mention the tools and the techniques that you are using over there. It could be you're talking about, say, any database, any web technology that you are mentioning, specifically mention which technology you're talking about, or which kind of cloud service you're talking about. Are you working with AWS or GCP or anything else? Then certification you have mentioned, which is good. And if you have any other stuff that you might be thinking is not very important, but mention that. And yeah, that would be all. Objective, then you have to put your experience in a little more elaborative manner, and technical skills which are not very clear within AI what you're doing, or within the cloud applications what you're doing. You need to specifically mention what you're doing over there. The rest of the stuff that I mentioned in the earlier CV, keep that also in mind, and redo it.
Thank you so much, Amit, for your review. So, Madhuni, let us know on chat here or in the Q&A box if you have any questions. Now, let's move on to the next one. I can see folks asking on the chat here, they also want to share their resume for review. So, we already have basically shared a link when you were registering for this webinar. And we have gotten basically these selected resumes from there. So I'm so sorry, we won't be able to maybe do it right now, but I can help you out with something else. You can put down your questions you have, related to your resume in the Q&A box. That is something we can help you out with, right? So now moving on to the next one. This is by Oishik Das. Amit.
Yeah. So this looks little more detailed. If you see here, you have languages mentioned, what languages you are good at, skill set, DBMS you have mentioned, web tech, then version control you have mentioned, cloud services you have mentioned. So that's good. And recent projects you have mentioned, customer relationship management app. So oversaw the development of a user-friendly. I would say change a bit of your format. I'm thinking it might create a problem when you send a CV to some companies which use some ATS, which will automatically read your CV. So if you have 2 paragraphs, sometimes it creates a problem. I'm just saying, okay. But if you're sending to some individuals, this will work perfectly fine. Then once you will have a single paragraph, you will have more explaining a particular project in a little bit more detail. It doesn't become little more what do you call, too many lines, too many words in a concise space. So you need to look into it. So customer relationship management CRM app looks good. What you have mentioned there, again, as I mentioned, that the first sentence is fine, oversaw the development, but the second sentence you need to again use some action words. And if you think this is in addition to what you have mentioned in the first sentence, keep it there only, or rephrase the entire thing. And you have tools these days that can help you in terms of rephrasing all that. Good thing you have mentioned is that you have written what are the tools used in CRM app that you're talking about. Now Django will be within Python framework, so you can mention that way. Then the chess club website you have mentioned. So there also I would say you have mentioned design to empower, which looks fine. And you have also given the link for the GitHub repository, which is pretty good. So you have a GitHub portfolio. That's what I was talking about. Then you have ChatGPT, Android that you're talking about. So there also sentences are good, but if you look at the second sentence, again, you need to rephrase it. You can say something like utilize the power of OpenAI ChatGPT. So you start with that, utilize the power of OpenAI GPT. Don't write it harnesses. Okay, so you start with that way, that you have done something on that particular part, rather than you have just plugged in something here and there. Okay. Then you have mentioned about QSDOM, exam portal. So there, again, you have mentioned, I think you're working on that, right? Can you scroll down, Rasha? Currently working on this project, but give a little detail about it, what you're exactly doing over there. Again, use action verbs. Don't forget about that. That's important. Then certification is fine. Achievements you have, I think you have mentioned on the right hand side. Now you have to go up, Rasha. Scroll up. Certifications, you have mentioned all of them, and you have also given the link for that. That's nice. And then you have achievements, and this is what I was talking about, that when you read a resume like this, some of us might have some problem going through one paragraph and then moving to the one section of it and then moving to the other section, which is the right hand side. We have this habit of reading from left to right in CVs. When I'm talking about resumes, in left to right format. So I would strongly recommend that make a one section only, don't make it two sections. Then you have mentioned achievements and all, which is nice, and education also you have mentioned. So I would simply say that highlight your skills, especially in programming languages and tools. And for the recent projects that you have mentioned, clearly explain what you are doing with the action verbs. You have already given GitHub repository, which is nice. You have mentioned list of certifications and achievements that you have already done. So rest of the things are good. I would only recommend that rephrase your sentence that you have mentioned. And other thing is that whatever project you have mentioned doesn't highlight your capability of data science or machine learning. So I wanted to check with you on that have you done anything on that sort? If not, probably you can mention a couple of capstone where you have worked in the data science or machine learning field, or even in CRM when you're talking about eventually it will collect some data. Have you worked on that side where after collecting the data, you will be applying some kind of data science concept to gain more information or more insight from that data. So all that thing you have to mention, because nowhere it mentions that you are working on some kind of data science technique or data machine learning field. So that's what you need to understand. Okay, so that would be my input on this, Rasha.
Awesome. Oishik Das, if you have any question for us, do let us know on chat here. Now moving on to the next one. We have this resume by Harshad Apraj. Amitendra, can you help us review this resume?
Sure. Okay, so Harshad has given this one summary of experience and qualification, professional with 10 years of experience in software testing, knowledge of writing test plan and so on, and attended training in AIML. Summary, what you have mentioned is fine. I would say that what you have, summaries is entirely done, but I would say that probably you can think of rephrasing a bit here and there. Okay, so probably you can think of writing that in a better manner. As I keep saying, same feedback I'm giving on most of it, that you have to use some action verbs when you're giving explanation about what you have done. So pick up those action words, and that's what you have to do to start with. Then what you can try here is, can you scroll a little down? Like experience summary. So same thing is applied over here also. If you see that it does not have any action words, that is very important. When you write an action word, it gives this understanding. When somebody is reading, understand the psychology. When somebody is reading, they start thinking you have done this particular part. Instead of just simply reading it, they start getting this feeling that you have done that. So you need to write it that. And then when you're creating test plan, that's very, very generic. You have to make it a little more comprehensive. Okay, so that's what you have to do. And as a tester, you have mentioned analyze the requirements, develop the test cases, upload test cases in Mercury QC. So that I'm not very sure what all the steps are required, but if it has some kind of technical requirement as well, mention that, and that will be useful. Then you have mentioned your key achievements, letter of appreciation, which is nice. Education you have mentioned. So yeah, I would say that rewrite your roles and responsibilities using some action words. I keep saying the same thing because I know most of us make that kind of mistake. And just take the inputs on the other CVs that I have given. Keep those inputs in your mind when you're recreating your CV, and you're good to go then. Yeah, Rasha.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Amit, so thank you so much for taking us through this resume review of Harshad. Harshad, do let us know on chat in case you have any questions. Harshad has responded like, thanks, Amit. So he has responded to us. Great. So now moving on to the next one. This is by Nikita Valvekar. Let me just zoom in because I think the fonts are pretty small. So it will be visible. So, yeah.
Okay, so professional summary has she has written, which is nice, and I would simply say that this is pretty good actually. The summary is pretty nicely written. This one I read that. This is nice, and then immediately she has mentioned technical skills, which is good. Programming, SQL, Python, Scikit-learn, and R. Probably you can elaborate a bit further on that, as I mentioned earlier. When you talk about, say, Python, within Python framework, you have mentioned Scikit-learn, but I would say mention some more libraries. Think about machine learning project lifecycle or data science project lifecycle, and in that, whatever libraries you're comfortable with, put that. Like if I talk about data preparation, I know pandas for sure. I know data exploration, matplotlib, seaborn. So that way you have to understand that what is the entire flow, and that way you mention the libraries. So start with pandas, numpy, matplotlib, seaborn, then you reach scikit-learn, and suppose after that you have also learned about deployment part or evaluation, then what all libraries you might use. You might be using as simple as Flask for your some deployment, which is fine, but mention if you are if you have proficiency in that, or probably you're using ML flow for that. So whichever you are comfortable with, you can mention. Tools I have seen, you have mentioned NumPy, Pandas, and I'm just elaborating on that you can further mention what all libraries you can say you can use in Python. Management system, you talk about RDBMS, and you talk about ELT and ETL process. I would say mention the frameworks also which you are comfortable with. You might be using MySQL or SQL Server, but overall, if you know RDBMS, that all is same one and the same thing. Data visualization, Tableau, Power BI, Google Sheets, Matplotlib, and Advanced Excel. That's nice to see. Google Cloud, Scala, Scrum, Jira, Agile. Then you mentioned experience and accelerated, collected, translated, developed. So see, this is a perfect example of how you should write your experience. You have mentioned all the right thing, in a sense that you have used certain words which is indicating the action that you have taken into that particular job role. So that's pretty important. Now go further down. So data operational analyst and scoped, built, created, which is pretty nice actually. I think one thing which I was wondering when I was reading it is the knowledge about the machine learning algorithms that you should mention somewhere. I don't think so it's there. Rasha, can you scroll down? I want to see that. Further down. I did not find anything on that. Yeah, that's what. So educational details, fine, soft skills. So I would say one thing that if you have understanding of data science, machine learning concept, mention that also in detail, like what all you're capable of. Like you might think of mentioning the different algorithms that you are good at. You don't have to highlight each one of them, but if you mention a couple of them, it will give the idea that you have the understanding of machine learning algorithm, deep learning frameworks, or deep learning algorithms, all that you can mention. So that was something which I was thinking that is missing, in case if you have the knowledge and if you have not mentioned, if you're still in process of gaining that understanding and knowledge, then probably you can write it later, but that's what you have to do. And yeah, that would be pretty much all the things that I think this CV was pretty comprehensive.
I totally agree. Thank you so much, Amitendra, for reviewing Nikita's resume. Nikita, do let us know on chat here or in the Q&A box if you have any questions. So moving on to the next one. I know folks basically are talking about their resume to get reviewed. We'll try to cover as much as possible in this session of 60 minutes. So sorry if you're not able to cover your resume. But you can always ask us a question in the Q&A box. So don't worry about that. We'll try to answer questions in the Q&A session. So we have this resume by Sarthak Patwari. So Amitendra, can you review this resume for us as well?
Sure. Okay, so Sarthak, just a second.
I'll zoom in. I think folks are also not able to see. Is it visible now, folks? And to you as well. We have gotten some appreciation for you, Amitendra, as well. Very great and informative session already. So yeah.
Thanks a lot for that. So Sarthak, profile
starts it's by Samudram Nil. Basically the resume you reviewed just recently. It's by him.
Yeah, even Nikita mentioned that she's going through AIML course, so that's good.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
So here, if you see Sarthak, data analyst is a tag you have kept, and profile, detail-oriented individual with eagerness to accept challenges while learning and gaining experience from them. Currently pursuing electronics and communication, artificial intelligence, machine learning, creative thinker, adapt and data analysis, and working with various data, which is nice. And probably you can add one more line that what you're looking forward in a job, probably means what kind of job you are looking. So you can add that one line over there, that what kind of career you are looking if you're a fresher. And then you have mentioned education, so which is good. Then you have can you scroll down? So then you have done courses. So I think it's freshers CV only. So on the right hand side, you have mentioned some links. LinkedIn is there. Skills, data science, data analysis, machine learning, deep learning, Python. As I mentioned earlier as well, that you should elaborate further on that. Like, see, what happens is when you say machine learning, it's understood that when you're mentioning machine learning, I'm knowledgeable about those techniques. But when you specifically mention few of them, it gives a little more detail about what you're capable of. So when you say Python, yes, Python, I know Python, and the recruiter should understand that I'm capable of working with pandas, NumPy and all. But that doesn't happen. Most of the recruiter will not be from the technical background. So if that it's mentioned in their job profile that the guy should be very good at pandas or should be very good with the Django, probably TensorFlow, they will not be able to find those keywords on your resume, even though we are capable of working with those libraries. So one thing I want to tell all of you is that when you mention certain libraries and when you read the job description, read the entire job description. What people do is, generally I see, is that when they look at the job opening as data engineer or machine learning engineer, they just simply think they understand, they have the required skill set, they simply apply. But what happens at the recruiter, when a junior recruiter is looking at the resume, they don't know that TensorFlow comes under Python. They don't have understanding of that. So they will match the keywords and they will say eventually that you don't have the skill set, and they will reject you. And that's what I was saying, that every time you apply for a job, you have to again change your resume and you have to pick up those keywords from the job description, so that either if it's done by individual or even if it's done by a system, it should match the keywords, and then it should at least call you and tell you that you should come for the interview. So that's something you have to be very careful with. And that's what I am saying here. Skills, when you are mentioning, you have to keep on working on them based on what job role you're applying for.
Who is responding on chat? I made the CV for analyst role for an internship.
Okay.
Maybe Sarthak, can you let us know in chat, like, what is the intention here? Like, are you basically looking to transition into AIML career? What basically do you want to ask Amitendra? Please go ahead. And surprisingly, all the folks we have reviewed so far have joined the session. So these are just selected resumes out of hundreds of folks who have shared with us. So that's pretty interesting. Sarthak, please do let us know in chat if you have any question for your resume.
Career student and applying for analyst internship. Okay, understood. So then, as I mentioned, give a little more detail about these skills that you have mentioned, and whichever company you're applying for an internship, if they have a proper job description for interns, go through it and then tailor-made your CV as per that. But I think most of the places internship is not entirely defined by companies, so I'm not very sure on that, but just work on it. And rest of the things look fine. Extracurricular activity. Okay, I was just going through the extracurricular activity and realized that you have mentioned computer vision and robotics engineer, which is a pretty good thing what you have done over there. And elaborate further on that, that what all you have done there, what all tools you have used, what techniques you used, put in a bullet format and use action words to explain what you have done. And probably you can highlight working this particular activity that you have carried on. So don't take that as a light, as a simple thing, because a lot of machine learning algorithms are used in computer vision, and with the robotics, it is going to a different level altogether. So probably you can look into that and redo redo this particular section. Okay, I would actually say that probably you can move that as a project rather than extracurricular activity. Okay, so make it as a project. Don't mention as a something which you're doing just as a more of a hobby. Okay.
Yeah, awesome. I think he has responded, okay, sure. So thank you so much, Amit Indra, for reviewing Sarthak's resume. Now moving on to the next one. This is by Vishal Kumar. And I'll just quickly browse through. Okay, there's the second page is blank, but it's there. So I think that is a red flag, but I leave it up to you for the rest of the resume. Vishal Kumar, if you're joined us, please do let us know on chat. If you have any questions, particularly, if you basically are trying to move towards AIML. So I'll just zoom in into this resume.
Sure. So here, as you see, there's no objective or profile summary. You need to start with the objective. Then you mention your education. If you're a fresher, not a problem. Certifications you mention. Certification, you can mention all the certificates that you have gone through, and then mention the skill set. The skill set, again, if you're looking for a data science job, then you should start with something on, say, on the programming platform, what you're comfortable with. For data analysis, what all libraries you're comfortable with. For machine learning, what libraries you're comfortable with. Go through that. Similarly, for data visualization, at the database level, what databases you are comfortable with. Is it MySQL, NoSQL, whatever. And if you have any other tools that you are comfortable, right? It might be Excel, it might be R, Minitab, whatever. And then in the projects, if you have any projects, mention that. Okay, I saw the second page was empty, so I was not very sure about that. So if you have done some projects, mention that. And if not, I would say that take some solve some capstone or probably some open source data set you pick up and work on that. Create a good portfolio on GitHub and explain what you have done in the project and what kind of insights or information you have drawn from that. That's what you have to do. So that's what you can do. Customer churn and all, any kind of analysis you can put there. So I would say that focus on relevant skill certification projects related to the data science and machine learning. Include any relevant coursework or additional qualification you have. Highlight any personal project or any open source contributions you have done. That also is fine. And redo the CV, and I think rest of the points is applicable here also, what I have been telling you earlier. Okay, so that's all. That's what I would say here. Redo this, and don't mention your details like your, I think mobile and email ID and is sufficient for you to mention. Rest of the things are not required. Okay.
Definitely. I think these are the resumes we'll be reviewing today, but I'm pretty sure you have shared questions in the Q&A box. I will be taking those. Before that, let's move on to the slide quickly where we stopped. So before we talk about the program introduction, we would love to know what exactly is your biggest challenge when it comes to becoming an AIML expert. So you can see a quick poll on your screen here. So what basically is stopping you from becoming an AIML expert? So sorry for the typo in the question. So you can find the 4 options. This is a MCQ question. So you can choose multiple options here as well. So the first one being, I can't find a fully comprehensive curriculum in a program. And the second one, I don't have the practical exposure I need to become job ready. And the third one, I find it difficult to learn from pre-recorded videos. And the last one, my work schedule won't allow me enough time for learning. So let us know, what is your biggest concern when it comes to becoming an AIML expert? What's basically stopping you from becoming an AIML expert? And also, we have gotten some great questions in the Q&A box, and we can't wait to take those questions. So please make sure that the questions are related to resume in general, related to AIML, and also related to the upcoming program by IIT Kanpur in AIML. So we'll be talking about more about that, and the skills and the tools and the projects which you can add to your resume to amplify it when you're pursuing an AIML job. So awesome. I think we have gotten most of the votes here. I'll be closing the poll now and sharing the results. So as you can see, the biggest concern here is I wouldn't get the practical exposure to become job ready. And I think the second biggest concern here is I couldn't find a fully comprehensive curriculum program. And the third one is my work schedule won't allow me enough time for learning. And I think few of the folks have voted for I find it difficult to learn from pre-recorded videos. So thank you so much for sharing your biggest concern. Now moving on to the program review. So here, the professional certificate course in AI machine learning by IIT Kanpur gives you a comprehensive and industry-aligned learning path. You get access to integrated hands-on labs and projects for practical exposure. We'll be talking more about that in the upcoming slides. And also access to online virtual classrooms with live peer instructor interaction and flexible to fit your lifestyle and schedule. The program duration for this one is 11 months, and you can cover this by just giving 10 to 15 hours per week. And end of it all, you will be getting a certificate from E&ICT Academy, IIT Kanpur. You can see that certificate here, how it looks like, and also exposure to latest trends like generative AI, prompt engineering, ChatGPT, and much more. We'll be talking about that in the upcoming slides. Hands-on projects, which I've already basically mentioned before, and master classes delivered by distinguished IIT Kanpur faculty. Now, talking about basically the skills and the electives you basically be getting in this program. Basically how it basically builds your skills step by step. So Amitendra, can you take us through the skills step by step? And also sorry for the typo, the cybersecurity thing. So yeah.
Not a problem. So basically this program is a comprehensive program which starts with the mathematics and statistics essential for data science and machine learning, which has kind of become a very important foundational skill, because when you are working with these algorithms, we do some mathematical calculation, and at times what happens, you start thinking how it's working out. So that's where this foundation is built. So you are given a foundation on mathematical skills, statistical skills, and as well as your programming refresher. So that's what is done over here. And then the next section over here, which is mentioned, is applied data science with Python, where we teach you how do we take up the data and convert into a format which is very, very essential for machine learning perspective. So that's where applied data science with Python comes into the picture. So your basic data handling, data cleaning, or data wrangling that we talk about is taken care over here, and feature engineering as well. So that part will be covered over here. And once you are done with that, you will move to machine learning, which will focus upon different types of machine learning algorithms, which will comprise of your supervised, unsupervised learning, and within those frameworks, different kind of learning that you go through. Then once that is done, you will have deep learning with Keras and TensorFlow, which focuses upon predominantly upon neural networks. How do they work and how do you implement it on the given data? That's what you learn over there. So you'll also get to learn a framework called TensorFlow, which is designed for deep learning algorithms. So you are taught that. And then after that, you have essentials of generative AI, prompt engineering, and ChatGPT. Generative AI has become a very important concept these days. You might have seen so many examples of that or applications of that. ChatGPT itself is a is an example of generative AI. So that is what is explained to you over there. What is a generative AI, and then what is a prompt? What is prompt engineering, and how do you utilize ChatGPT with the help of effective prompts? And then you will have your capstone. That's what is your whole program. You're on mute, I think, Rasha.
Oh, sorry. I pressed my mouse by mistake. So thank you so much for taking us to the basically steps. The electives come as a part of the program. You won't be basically charging anything extra for that. So it is up to you if you want to take that up. And now talking about the skills. Basically, what are the skills basically needed to be an AIML practitioner? Amitendra, can you take us through these skills as well?
Sure. So foundational skills, you need to have understanding of statistics and mathematics, because predominantly all these algorithms are based on some optimization algorithm, which comes from either mathematics or statistics. So you need to learn that. And then Python, its libraries, which is a tool we are using to carry out these calculations on a large amount of data and apply some machine learning algorithms. So that's your foundational skills. Then you will have learning methods, different types of learning methods you have to go through: supervised, unsupervised, reinforcement learning. Within that framework, you will have your ensemble learning or recommendation system. So all those algorithms you need to learn. And then you'll have some advanced topics like deep learning algorithms, where we talk about building neural networks, which is nothing but trying to imitate the human brain. Generative adversarial network, which is part of your generative algorithms. And then you also talk about computer vision and NLP. So these are the advanced topics. So basically, this is what the skill set you should have when you want to call yourself as an AI or ML practitioner.
Thank you so much for taking us through that. Now moving on to the AIML skills, which basically we covered, which opens many career paths. What are the career paths folks can take up? As I can see that there's a machine learning engineer, AI engineer, but I'm pretty sure there are much more categories of career paths which folks can go for, right? Not just limited to these. Can you take us through the career paths which they can take up?
Sure. So basically, if you ask me, probably it starts at data analyst or data engineer that we talk about. So once you start working on the data, first-hand experience with the data you get. And the skill for data engineer that you need is you should have proficiency in data manipulation tools. Like it could be SQL, it could be probably working with the Hadoop or Apache Spark. And then you should also understand the data warehousing and ETL processes, understanding the DBMS that you have, like MySQL, PostgreSQL, NoSQL databases. Familiarity with data pipeline is very important, which is basically you can use a simple Python program for that, or you might have Apache Airflow for that. Or you should also have experience in data modeling and schema design. So you're starting at that level. So basically, you are getting the understanding of how data is getting stored and how you're curating it so that it can be used for some machine learning process. So that could be one part that you might be thinking that, okay, I'll work on that side of the entire project life cycle, where I'm working with the data only and I'm helping in terms of cleaning the data or wrangling the data. And then similarly, you want to move probably you want to do a machine learning part. So you might have machine learning engineer as a career path, where you need to have a good understanding of Python, its different libraries within Python, or any other tool that you might be well versed with. And then you should have a strong understanding of machine learning algorithms, deep learning, neural networks, data pre-processing, feature engineering expertise. Model evaluation is very important. You should understand how to evaluate different models, optimization of the models. And then probably you can go to next level and learn some cloud computing also. So platforms like AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud, one of them probably you can pick up. And then similarly, you should also have experience in deployment and serving of machine learning models. So if you want to choose this particular path, you have to start with a strong foundation in data science and machine learning. And then you have to gain practical experience through projects or internship, or probably do some capstones that we keep calling. Then similarly, you might think of becoming an AI architect. So you have to have strong understanding of AI and machine learning concepts. You should know how to design AI systems and architecture at a broad level, and also going to the minute steps that you have to take. Then you should have cloud platform understanding, how to do the AI model deployment on that. And then not only that, you should have a strong ability of collaborating with data scientists and engineers to implement AI solution. That also is important. And career path would be probably begin with a background in machine learning or software architecture. Software architecture is important because you're designing the entire architecture, which is very similar to any software that you talk about. Then develop deep understanding of AI technologies and their applications. And then you have to progress to roles like chief AI architect, principal AI architect. That's how it goes. Or probably you are thinking of AI developers. So then you have to have Python, Java, C++ understanding, probably depending on the requirement. All the Java and C++ will be more on the application side that you are building, and Python would be on the machine learning AI side. And then you should have a strong software development skills, familiarity with AI libraries, frameworks, and start with a strong foundation in software development, and then specialize in AI development on top of it. That's how we'll move there. When you talk about data scientists, senior data scientists, then you should have advanced knowledge of machine learning algorithm and statistical analysis, sound expertise in data pre-processing, feature engineering in Python, R, and you start as a data scientist, gain experience, so you become a senior data scientist. But how do we become a data scientist then? For data scientist, you have to start as a data analyst probably, or a junior data scientist if there's a role for that. Gain experience on real world projects, real problem that you're solving, and gradually will move as a data scientist or senior data scientist. That's how it will go.
Thank you so much for taking us through the career paths in AIML. Now, moving on, you can also master in-demand tools, libraries, platforms in this course. You can see a few of them on the screen: Python, Keras, ChatGPT, OpenCV, OpenAI Gym, Django, Matplotlib. Amitendra, do you need all these tools, libraries, platforms in order to basically become an expert, or you can start with something, and start basically also, I think adding a relevant information in the resume is also important, right? You cannot just go and add all the tools, right? Right? So what would you suggest for folks who basically want to do that or have a question like that?
I would say this way, that you pick up one tool and the other becomes very easy. Like if you talk about NLTK, which is for natural language processing, TensorFlow is for deep learning, Keras is for deep learning, Scikit-learn, which is mentioned over here, is for your machine learning algorithms. Matplotlib that we use is for data visualization. Flask we use for creating deployment servers. All these libraries, underlying programming is Python. So when you learn Python, all these libraries will be very, very simple for you to understand. And in our program, what happens, you start with the basics Python and basics of Python, and once you start moving towards machine learning and deep learning, all these libraries will be part and parcel of it. So you don't have to specifically sit down and understand how do they work, but machine learning algorithms, and these libraries will be kind of a byproduct where you will gain understanding of them while using in the classroom itself while solving some problem. Similarly, ChatGPT has become very important these days, and you can that will be a different tool altogether, but that also understanding is given to you how it works. Or when you talk about Mid-Journey, Kubernetes and all, that's for the model deployment. So one or the other you might be pick up and you can use it. Like MLflow is also a pretty good platform, which is much easier to use. So I won't say all of the tools will be very necessary, but some of them are kind of a mandatory now. And as you progress in the program, you will get to learn all these tools and techniques.
That's great. Now moving on basically to the projects. I think we have basically talked about how you can add a project. So we basically have these retail, production, BFSI, and many more projects like this which you can cover in this program. And also a capstone project we'll be talking about after this. So how does having a capstone project which you can add to your resume, as you've mentioned in one of the resumes, right? Having a project will basically help someone who's coming from transition to AIML. What would you suggest for them in terms of these projects which we can cover through this program?
If I talk from a recruitment perspective, I'm looking for somebody who has a good understanding of these concepts. I'm fine if they do not have an actual problem that they have solved in a particular company or organization. As long as they have sound understanding, I'm fine with that. And one way of of showcasing that you are really good at machine learning or data science would be a capstone, because our capstone, which is there, is quite a comprehensive capstone. It tests your knowledge right from data acquisition to data preparation, data wrangling, feature engineering, model building, and eventually model evaluation. So if you are, it will test your knowledge on all those aspects, and in doing so, you get to learn what kind of how do you present your finding to the end user. So capstone is pretty important in terms of showcasing your skill set, that what you are capable of. And once you solve a capstone, automatically you will understand that what kind of phases you have gone through and what should I mention on my resume once you want to showcase your skill set. So that way it is very important.
Wow, that's great. Now moving on to the eligibility and prerequisites. I think someone has asked this question about the eligibility as well. So you basically need to have a prior knowledge or experience in programming and mathematics. You need to have a bachelor's degree with an average of 50% or higher marks, and also 2+ years of formal work experience is preferred. Now moving on, basically to the global leader, we have program director. So they make sure that they basically Simplilearn is delivering to as per standards to IIT Kanpur. Here we have Professor Ame Karkare. We would love to know, like, are you interested in enrolling into the professional certificate program in artificial intelligence by IIT Kanpur? So you can let us know on the quick poll you can see on your screen right now. We'll be moving on to the Q&A part pretty soon. We have gotten a lot of questions in the Q&A part, and we'll try to cover as much as possible. And yes, we have extended the session by a few minutes, by 10 minutes or so, but we'll try to cover as many questions as possible from the Q&A box after this, once I take you through the enrollment steps as well. So please do let us know on the quick poll here, as you can see on the screen here right now. So yeah. I'll just keep this poll for 10 seconds more. Also to let you know, you'll be getting a bonus offer for attending this webinar if you basically enroll into this program now. And you can share your interest towards enrollment in this poll here. And basically you'll be understanding basically when you want to start as well in the upcoming next slides. I think a few folks have asked about the program fee. When is the cohort starting? I'll be sharing that once we are done with this. Okay, I can see one response in the chat that already enrollment is done. So that's great. I hope we can help you something with the resume part if you have put down your questions there. I can see a lot of appreciation coming towards Amitendra. Excellent session, very useful. Thank you, Amitendra.
Thanks, guys.
Would you? I do have a quick survey for you towards the end of the session, because you would like to do such kind of sessions, in the upcoming months. So I would love to get your feedback. I'll do that towards the end. I'll just keep this poll for 5 seconds more. So a few of the folks who have not voted, we have gotten most of the interest we can see on the poll here towards enrollment. So that's great. So I'll just end this poll in the next 5 seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me end the poll. Thank you so much for sharing your interest towards steps. You just need to follow 3 easy, simple steps in order to basically enroll into this program. You need to submit an application at .net. I'll share that email ID in the chat after this. And based on that, your application will be going for a review. Once your application is reviewed, you'll be getting an admissions offer letter from learning consultants from Simplilearn with the bonus offer, which you'll be getting for attending this webinar. So, and the enrollment schedule and the program fee for this one, which most of the few folks are asking about it. So the cohort for this one is starting on 21st of October, and the induction for this is starting on 29th of September. The fee for this program is 1,53,400, including taxes. And we have EMI financing options also available for as low as 5,220 rupees per month. For folks who have joined from different countries, you can go and check out the program in your region. I'll share the link towards the end of the session. And also, if you have any questions, you can always contact us at askus@simplilearn.net. Just to let you know that we have very limited seats per cohort. So we only take 25 to 30 students per cohort in order to make sure you're getting the all required attention, when you are basically pursuing this program. So for folks who have already shared their interest towards enrollment, I'm just launching a quick poll on your screen, which you can see that how soon do you plan to enroll into the PCP program in AI machine learning by IIT Kanpur. You can see 4 quick options here. The first one immediately, second one within 3 months, third one within 6 months, and the last one more than 6 months from now. Folks who have shared interest, I can see most of the folks who have shared interest who are attending this webinar. You can select maybe immediately. I've shared you the cohort which you can join immediately. And within 3 months option, if you're planning, if you need more time. And folks who are still thinking about it, I would suggest to select the within 6 months or more than 6 months from now. Because if you select it now, you will basically be getting the bonus offer for attending this webinar even from 6 months from now. So why do you want to lose out on that, right? So I'll just give like 10 seconds more for folks who have not shared yet, because I can see we have gotten most of the votes from the folks here. So we have gotten really active, folks here. A lot of appreciation coming in. Excellent session from Lima. Okay, already enrolled with Caltech. That's great. Caltech is also great. Okay, I can see a lot of folks have joined, basically alumni as well of Simplilearn have joined here. So that's pretty interesting actually. So, okay, we'll be moving to the Q&A part here. I can see that you're still jotting down your questions there because I can see the Q&A questions, going up. So I'll just end this poll now. Thank you so much for sharing when do you want to enroll. Now, moving on to the Q&A part. So let's start with the Q&A part. We'll try to take as many questions as possible because we've extended the time. Apologies for that if we are not able to take all the questions. So let me just quickly scroll through the questions here. Too many questions. I'm just going through it. Meanwhile, if you have a question, you can go and put down a question there related to the program or AIML career in general, or anything related to the resume as well. Okay, I can see one question from Raji, which is a very interesting question. I am from the sales background who has enhanced his experience in DS and BA. Now I'm learning AIML. How can my resume give a good weight for this transition and interest? Amit, can you help us with that?
Sure. So sales background, and then you're coming into data science. So what you need to focus upon is basically in sales also a lot of forecasting happens. So one problem happens is that okay, let me give you an entire overview what you can do. You can start with a strong summary. Don't forget about that. Bring in your resume with the compelling summary. Don't forget about that. Introduce your background, your transition to data science, and your key skills. Okay, then you need to highlight some transferable skills which you can take from sales and move into data science field. In a sense, you can talk about your sales career, such as it could be as simple as communication, problem solving, client relationship management that you do, probably how you can take that and move into analytics. It could be probably you're talking about sales analytics in general that you can focus upon, or probably even in data science field, you're thinking about a job role which is more of a business analyst job role, because that is also there in data science field. All you need is a good communication skills, good problem solving skill, and you work as a bridge between the client and a team of data scientists. So you need to understand what problem a customer is facing, how your data driven technique can solve that particular problem, understand the entire scope of work, come back and then sit down with the set of data scientists and then create an entire solution plan how it will work. That kind of job role is also there. So probably you'll have to look into from that particular perspective, but as much possible, as far as possible, focus on highlighting your transferable skills, and then showcase your achievements. Don't forget upon that. See what kind of personal projects you have done, which is talking about data science as a tool, and then solving a particular problem that you have done in personal capacity, that is also fine. You can mention that, and you can personal capacity in a sense that you have done it for your team. Probably it was not required from management, but you did for your team, and the team has gained a lot of insights from that. Something like that you can focus upon.
Thank you so much for answering that, Amitendra. Please let us know in chat if that answers your question or if you have more questions. I can see one more interesting question from Pallavi here. I have a question. I am a network engineer. How can AIML help me in furthering my or enhancing my career?
Network engineer. Okay, network engineering, when you're talking about AIML, could be useful in networking as well. So it could be network traffic analysis and optimization that you are looking at. So it could AI and ML algorithm can help you in analyzing network traffic pattern in real time, identify any anomalies, or probably predict potential network congestion in advance. That's what you can do. One example I'm giving you. Or it could be security threat detection. You can create models which can detect and respond to network security threats faster and more accurately than your traditional methods that you have. Or it could be your very common predictive maintenance, which will help network engineers to anticipate and prevent network equipment failures that we talk about. Or any kind of network automation you are looking for, where you want to automate the routine network task. It could be configuration management, it could be provisioning, it could be troubleshooting that you're talking about, or it could be probably anomaly detection, it could be natural language processing for troubleshooting. You want to create an application like that. So all those examples that I have given it is only in your domain. I'm talking about only your domain. Now, the problem, what happens is, I'll tell you, like if I'm a data scientist and if I have to solve these kind of problem, what I need to do is I need to understand entirely how networking works. So what is network engineering? That domain expertise, you already have it. All you have to do is you have to gain your AIML understanding, and then you need to simply combine that knowledge with your networking knowledge, network engineering knowledge, and then you can solve these problems that I have mentioned.
Thank you so much, Amitendra, for answering that. I hope, Pallavi, that answers your question. Please do let us know on chat. I can see one question from Anas here. I recently took admission in BSCS. I am currently a digital marketing analyst at a well-known digital agency. I'm thinking of shifting my career to AIML. What will be the starting part?
So digital marketing analyst is what you mentioned, right?
Yes, yeah.
So a starting point would be build the foundational knowledge about mathematics, statistics. One key area I want to tell all of you, people do not realize, and especially people who start learning machine learning directly, and then they say that statistics is not getting used anywhere. But to do overall comprehensive analysis on the data, statistics is very essential, and you should learn about them in detail. So start with the basic statistics, and then probably you can break it down into descriptive, inferential, predictive, and prescriptive, and go through them and learn about inferential statistics, probability concepts, probability distribution. So build that foundation first. Also learn about programming platforms. Remember, programming is just a helping hand. We cannot do those calculations with pen and paper. So we are using Python or R or any other platform as a calculator, a sophisticated calculator, which can do the calculation for us. That's the role of Python. That's it. And then learn those Python fundamentals and also how to acquire data, how to prepare data. And then gradually you move to machine learning models. That's what you should do.
Thank you so much, Amitendra, for answering that. I hope that answers your question. Okay, let me just quickly browse through more questions. The questions are still coming in. Okay, I can see one question that I am a job hopper, worked in genomics research, agriculture, R&D, school administration, educational advisor, healthcare, and so on. Will this course help me or someone with same instability Note every job was for me for more than a year. Average is 1.5 years and max is 3 years.
Okay, so it's a quite a, diverse yeah, the term that you used, job hopper, was pretty accurate over there. So I would say when you talk about healthcare in particular, a lot of applications are there actually, and it could be disease diagnosis. If I talk about from healthcare, genomic data analysis itself is very vast and complex, and uh, AIML algorithms are used to process, analyze, and interpret genomic data. In fact, I have been talking to one of the hospital in California where they have been doing some DNA sequencing to understand what kind of problem a newly born baby might develop in next 2 3 years, and how to solve that particular problem.